Well, I will say, welcome everybody to Fruitless, Fruitless Patreon episode. I'm joined by two guests here, Justin Comer. You know what? Is that how you pronounce Comer? I should have checked.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
You got it.
I should have checked before I started recording. And so, joined today by Justin Comer and Gavin Aronsen, return guest here.
See, you got his wrong, actually.
Oh, I did?
It's Aronsen, yeah.
Aronsen. I think I did that. I think I did it wrong last time too. That sucks.
The only person I corrected was Justin. I went on his show.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, the first time. So I've always remembered.
Oh, okay. Good
Aronsen.
to know. Good. Aronsen. I'm gonna have to remember that. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna have you guys individually introduce yourself here real quick, just so people who don't know you kind of know who you are. So, Justin, since you've never been on the show, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to be a first time guest here on Fruitless. I'm primarily a musician, but people who listen to podcasts may know me from Hard Caucus, which is an Iowa politics podcast that I do.
Hell yeah, and I did not hear a single denunciation of Hamas in that whole conversation there. So
no, and you'll never hear that from me.
So deduce from that. Deduce what you want from that. Gavin Aronsen, or I'm doing it already. Jesus, Gavin.
That's all right. You're good. I'm I guess the erstwhile editor of the Iowan Informer, which is, I don't know, on hiatus. I occasionally reboot my server so the website works. It's got all kinds of problems. I've got a Substack I occasionally write on now, but I'm not really doing a whole lot. I'm kind of trying to figure out what to do next, but my background's in journalism.
Hell yeah. Well, there was so to kind of bring us into like what I want to talk about, why I asked both of you on here is I think in general, if you are a left-leaning person right now, you kind of feel like you're going crazy with the conversations about Israel and Palestine over the last month. And this kind of culminated in a really recent specific case here in Iowa where, the college Democrats groups ended up in a fight with the IDP. And, I thought it would be interesting with you guys being both paying a lot of attention to, local Iowa politics, to be able to kind of give what context you can to that kind of thing. And also just, it's pretty ridiculous, to kind of fill people in. It's a bit of a long thing, but I kind of want to actually read what the University of Iowa statement is in full, because I think a lot of what's going on right now locally has just been obfuscating like what actually got said. So real quick, the University of Iowa Democrats put out a statement. This was last week on Wednesday. We shamelessly and fully support Palestine. We recognize that every person has the unalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, just as the United States has long said they stand for. The ongoing violence against millions of innocent people is egregious, and the perpetuation of it by the United States of America and other Western states is even more so. We have been taught the stories of mass murders and genocides of people around the world, including those of the United States. We now bear witness to the same systems of oppression taking place in a nation thousands of miles from our own. No longer will we watch in silence while atrocities are committed against men, women, and children. We protest, advocate, and fight for the human rights of all, for the rights of Palestine. And then they go on to say, I guess I didn't actually even include the last line there, but it is the famous, let Palestine, Palestinians live free from the river to the sea.
Yeah, the screenshot that I have of it, they phrased it as "May every Palestinian live long and free from the river to the sea."
So they Now this has become a pretty fucking contentious slogan over the last few weeks. Because I think it feels like a lot of people are pretending that they'd never heard it before, which I've been baffled by. So on Twitter, we got, of course, Republican Iowa GOP chair Jeff Kaufman, started denouncing how this is insane.
There's a difference between being liberal and being insane.
Insane, yes.
Yeah, I disagree.
say the Iowa Dems are siding with militantly anti-LGBT Hamas terrorists, which is really rich because their party was like just trying to ban gay marriage earlier this year, right? They were trying to change that language.
As we all know, that's at the heart of this current conflict in the Middle East.
That's the
anti-LGBT views of Hamas.
So of course we got, he ends it with saying, "We'll hear nothing but crickets from Rita Hart as anti-Semitic loons take over her party." So the Iowa Democratic Party and Rita Hart put out a statement asking a college Democrat group to everyone who signed that statement to resign, calling it genocidal, calling them whatever. That kind of fills you in with like what happened. Everyone in with like what happened. In light of that, Iowa State University's Democrats distanced themselves from the Democrats, put out a statement, seeing their own party as apparently toxic at this point. And that's kind of where things are right now. It's kind of the young college Democrats versus this older wing of the IDP or whatever.
It's really at the heart of so much of the problems, I think, institutionally within the leadership of the Democratic Party in Iowa. Is that divide between activists, younger, what should be part of their base, and their just constant alienation and kind of disregard.
The people in leadership always see anyone who's like even a percentage more radical than them as just this like huge liability that they have to immediately like make great pains to like very visibly distance themselves from, lest they be accused of like silence by Jeff Kaufman of the Iowa
Twitter.
Republican Party. Yeah. Like how is what he said going to hurt you more than like how they blew this up so much more, like that's clearly they made it such a worse problem for themselves.
Do you think the press would even be following the story the way it's been following it if it wasn't for the Democrats choosing to go after the young college Democrats?
I mean, would they have even noticed it? I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's another element of this is like, in general, if you do not go to college or like work at a college, you don't have to care about any of this.
No.
Like you don't have to care what a college Democrat group is saying.
It's really easy to not care. I don't care most of the time.
Another thing, I'm a little unclear on the exact timeline of events, but so what they did was that statement you read was the first statement they put out, and I don't know at what point Rita Hart and the IDP called for their resignation. It was the vice president and two other officers of the club, not the president.
Secretary and treasurer.
Okay, yeah. But they took down that statement. They were receptive to whatever the initial communication was. They put up another one, which I haven't seen, but that one I think was basically the same without that from the river to the sea statement. So they basically did what was, addressed what the problem was, seen as. And then they got individual calls from state lawmakers, according to some of the news reports. So that still wasn't good enough. It's the fact that they are apparently just, voicing support for an oppressed people, that's being bombed to oblivion, like in a insane, genocidal campaign against them, like massive disproportionate force. I mean, it shouldn't be a hard moral stand to take, but
that's why you have to push back against it so hard, is because it's so obviously the right position to take.
This was a preview for a Patreon only episode, so check out the show notes if you want to hear more.